Okay, what a big crowd. It will be easier for me if you come a bit closer, you know. You in the back, just come a bit closer. Yeah, come on, five rows is good. Okay, sorry. Okay, um, okay. I'm Ivo. I will do some live demos. I'm probably the only one today, so we'll see how it goes. Probably there will be some breaking of whatever. We'll see. So this talk is about layout management, and if you don't know what is layout management, I will show you, and how it works with Sylius. Before we start, this is me. I'm doing a lot of stuff for a very long time. This is the gray stuff I have. This is because all of the stress, of deadlines and going in production in some crazy times, etc. We also do an event in Croatia, which I will tell you a bit more. The company is called Netgen, Croatia, Zagreb based. We also have an office in Zurich. We do CMS and e-commerce Symfony based stuff for many years. We are involved in some way in Sylius from a long time ago. I think this is Pavel speaking at Sylius Croatia in 2017 or something like that. And we also had Sylius workshops at our event at least 4 times. I checked that very late night, so I'm not sure about the years, but roughly it's okay. The event that we organize will be held, the next edition will be held in July 2024. We usually have a PHP and a Symfony track, so very interesting for you, I hope. It's in Croatia on the sea. Do I need to tell anything else? Okay, so you come. Okay, so that was very quickly just to give you context of who I am and the company and what we are doing. We are doing Sylius for many years, not a lot of projects, but still very interesting, very specific ones. The challenges that we face, because we also work on typical CMS projects. We use a Symfony-based CMS. It's now called Ibexa. Previously, it was called Easy Platform, and before that, it was called Easy Publish. And we have, we are used to CMS kind of features, and we miss that in Sylius a lot. Of course, there's always this way of doing that you have one CMS instance and one shop instance, and then you just link it together. That's fine, maybe in bigger projects. But sometimes you just need Sylius with some CMS functionality. So how to do content management in Sylius, how to make page building in Sylius, how to let less technical user create pages, and how do you enrich, how do you manage blocks on for example, on the checkout process, how to add or how to integrate things coming from other systems. This is what we kind of face on that part of implementing with Sylius. So what we did start in 2015, we started doing this layouting tool. And it was first imagined to work with the CMS, because we were also lacking that in the CMS we used. And come on, sit down. And then we kind of made it as a Symfony based. So it was not based on the CMS. It was based on Symfony, and so eventually we started integrating with Sylius as well. So layouts in a nutshell is Symfony-based component which has a UI where you can do things without coding. So it's some kind of page building, site building, but it's Symfony-based. That's very important. It's not something that's in the cloud. So you basically install it and use it. It can integrate, as I told you, with things like Ibexa, which is Symfony-based, Sylius, Symfony-based, but we can also integrate, or we did integration with other things like Contentful, which is a cloud API-based CMS, etc. This is roughly how it looks. So you have different two roles, let's say, which we are targeting. So us as site builders, and then someone from the client that can also use it, which is a bit more he understands a bit what he's doing. He's not pure, just someone who enters content. Content editors are on the other side, maybe on the CMS side or whatever. And with layouts, it uses twigs, so it renders traditional HTML. We can also use it in a more modern way, so that you have a React and then you just pull in JSON from layouts. We use it like that as well, but it's more we use more the traditional way. So just quickly, key concepts before we do the demo. So just the naming. So I know you face this in web development always, but you probably have your names for it, but we needed to name it for us. So a layout type is just a twig. Basically, it's a twig template with some zones, nothing else. And then when you create a layout based on a layout type, you can put blocks inside of these zones. Very simple. Blocks people call widgets, components, banners, blurbs. I don't know how. There's many names. We use blocks. And then in the block, or certain types of blocks, you can put block items, which are coming from it could be CMS, it could be e-commerce, and there are blocks with X number of items, and there is a kind of block which has only one item. There is a reason for that, but I don't have that much time for telling you that. And then each block has a block view, which is again just a twig template that renders the block. The point is that in the interface you can choose, and I will show you in the demo. And then we have a container block if you need columns. That's basically it. There are other kind of special kind of blocks, but I will skip those. Solutions. So of course we use layouts in several projects, or many projects, but in several ways. One way is just custom Symfony. There is some API in the backend and we use it. But let's say the most common thing is that we use it with the Ibexa CMS. So there is a CMS, and then on top of that we have layouts and other stuff. This is what we call Netgen stack for Ibexa. A partner company from Germany, they did their own solution, which is based on headless Sylius, Solar, integrations with PIM systems, and then they also use layouts on top of that. And what I want to show you today is what we are working on is more general approach using Bitbag CMS plugin, Sylius and layouts to kind of make some things more easier with Sylius. And that's basically it. Let's try to do the demo. So less talking, more showing. So let's see how this looks. Okay. First of all, I want to tell you where is it? Okay. So I did doing this demo on an installation of Sylius, which is used for selling tickets. So just to quick introduction, this is a website which is not on Sylius or anything else, which is about an event which sells tickets. And then you have widgets, or actually this widget here, it's pulling the product information from Sylius. And just to give you a notion that you see, so if I go and want to buy 2 tickets, then I'm redirected to Sylius. So basically now I'm on Sylius. And then of course I can do things, but you go into the checkout process, etc., etc. So I'm not going to there. This is not a presentation about this, but just to show you that how this Sylius looks like on the front. So if I'm going back in the administration interface, what I will see here, I will see, for example, the products. The products are actually the events. So here you will see there's a couple of events like products that exist now in this installation. Then I will show you the content management. This is the Bitbag. I don't know, how many of you use Bitbag CMS plugin? Okay, half maybe. So this is the Bitbag. We installed the Bitbag CMS plugin. It has this, maybe I will show a bit bigger, so and I'm standing, okay, here. So this is the Bitbag CMS. It has the typical blocks, media, pages, sections. This is like what you get when you install Bitbag CMS. What we added are two additional content types. It's called hero and about. So this is what we call the component blocks, which are not something that you need for creating the whole page, just a piece of page. You will understand when we get there. So just to be quicker, I created a couple of hero component blocks, and I also created a couple of about component blocks. This is Bitbag CMS pure, nothing special, just creating two content types there. Okay, now I have layouts, which is installed on this Sylius instance. And I want to create a campaign page for Cyber Monday with 50% discount. So how would you do this today in Sylius? You would go into Twig, right? Or you would create something. Maybe with Bitbag you would create a page. But how will it look? Will it look like an article? How do you make something which is more kind of sexy? I don't know, something like that. So let's see. So before that, one important thing, layout is not a CMS. It doesn't know about URLs. So for layouts to work, it needs to hook on a certain URL. I created a section Bitbag CMS entry, which is basically has nothing. It just has a URL, basically. It just has a URL. And if I go to the URL, it should be, let me just say, en pages, I think, Cyber Monday. This is how it looks. So it's empty page, nothing there. Okay, what we will do now is we will create a layout. We'll create a layout. New layout. When you go into layout, usually, or sometimes it's quicker to duplicate existing layouts, but now we will create a new layout eventually. Demo. Wi-Fi, is it working? Yeah, it should work. Okay, let's try again. Someone hacked the instance. Okay, so these are the layout types, if you remember, and these 6 are usually very much enough for most of the cases. I will not go into what's the point here, but you see the zone. So I will just take this one, and I will call it Cyber Monday. Cyber Monday. It will now open an interface for managing the blocks in that layout. This is how it looks. These are these zones. Usually what you do is you create, let me just maybe zoom more so you can see. Yeah. You create blocks, and there's different kind of blocks. So we can go into these here, which are like more common or basic things like, of course, HTML snippet, you always need that. But titles, etc. These are the component blocks which are tied to the content types of Bitbag CMS, which are focused on a block with single content type, a content item. And then we have listings and galleries, which are focused on when you have multiple, or what we call collection of items. And then you have containers, and then have some special things which I don't have time to explain. So what I did here, I created a hero block. What I need to do is create now the content. If you don't have it, you go in, create a new one, which will open a new tab where you enter the bitbag content. But here I have a prepared one, so I will just take this one here. Okay, and okay. What I will also do is I will put a couple of products. So I will take a grid block. I have an integration here. I can do a query. So there's two kinds of ways how you populate the grid. You can either do the manual or dynamic. And the dynamic one will offer you different kind of queries. This is Symfony service. So you can put there whatever you like, more or less. Just create whatever. We have prepared some Sylius and bitbag queries. What I will do here is go back to the manual one, where I can go and pick and choose the Sylius products. I can do also other things, but I want to put all these three because they are now on sale. So these are the product ones. They show up here. They have some images as well. And I will add some additional information down there in an about block. So here an about is more or less content-wise they are the same, but they are kind of different because hero is about a thing that is always on top and it's bigger and it has a big image, etc. About block is something that you use more in the bottom parts of the pages. We also have, it's easy to create another kinds of these blocks, but this is just for demo purposes. I created two. So again, I have prepared an about block, so I don't need to type again. There's a bit of content inside, nothing special. And now it will probably break, but okay, we'll see. This is how it looks like. So this is a preview. By the way, I still didn't connect it to the page, but I can preview the layout. And this is how I see it. And I don't like, okay, this thing here, it has two templates that I can use, and you can see here live that how it will change, but I like more the hero style one. This grid block usually also has this way of changing the items, but I don't have it right now on this demo. And this one here is also something I would like to change, so I will change the layout of this, and it will look like this. So each of these components has an image, the title, description. This one has a link, and this here has an image, an eyebrow, text, title, and a description. So this is just pieces of content, right? And okay, and I'm done with layout, and I can publish it. And if I go here, nothing will happen. Why? Because I need to connect the layout to the URL. And this is the most powerful part of the layouts, is you can define the rule, or what we call the mapping, where you connect under some conditions. So for example, I'm saying like this, I'm saying that the Cyber Monday layout, in this case, I will put it on the bitbag section, which is the Cyber Monday. This is a bit of clicking because on this installation we don't have a wizard which helps doing all these steps I will show you the wizard in Ibexa CMS in a moment. So that the user doesn't need to go click around all these mappings, etc. When you have one layout, one page. Layout can be used, for example, you can create a layout for an article, any article. So you can make it, you can map this layout, show me on all articles. You can also add conditions to this. So you can say, okay, but this is only on this Sylius channel, or this is only if I have a query parameter, this and that. So you can really set the rules when you want to show a certain layout. Again, I don't have a lot of time to go into too much details, but let's see this thing works or not. Okay, so I have it here. And the good thing is that I also can see that I'm using this layout, a resolved layout, and also if I go here, I can also see all the blocks that it rendered, so rendered blocks, etc., just so it's easier to debug. This is helpful. So hopefully this was interesting. Where I'm here, okay. What I can do now, I can map a different layout with a different condition and show something different. For example, on a home page, if you're coming from, let's say, some Facebook campaign, and you can have a condition UTM campaign, Facebook, whatever, show me different layout. These kind of things you can do. What I want to show you is just how this can be even more, or how it can be more powerful with the CMS, where layouts is more kind of used, or we advanced more with the integration. I have a single Ibexa CMS installation with 2 sites. So this is like a typical corporate website. You recognize the hero element, and this one is the about, sorry, not element, but component. This component here we call features. This one we call logos, obviously. So, and there's another kind of, or the other site on the demo instance is a portal. So you have 2 different sites on the same instance. If I go in here in the Ibexa CMS, you will see, this is small. These are those 2 sites, right? So if I click here, I have an additional integration thing here with layouts that I don't need to go into the list of layouts. I can see which layout is mapped for this particular page, and I see it here. And this is easier for editors. They don't need to go into the list of layouts because it can be a huge list. They can also add a new layout, and this is the wizard I was talking about. So here, they either create a new layout or they duplicate some existing layout, and then you get you get into the interface, do the changes in the layout, publish it. You don't need to do the mapping stuff. It's all done here. This is for, let's say editors. Quicker adding of the layout to a particular landing page. And this is how this layout looks like for this portal. So you see there's a lot of blocks and columns, etc., where you manage things. Just to show you also, for example, the query. You remember the queries in Sylius. Now you can see the queries in Ibexa. We have different. We don't have Sylius because it's not Sylius installation, but we have Ibexa query. And this query looks like this. It has a parent location. It has sorting. It has filtering based on content types, on who knows what, object states, sections. This is very Ibexa specific. But the idea is just to show you what can be done. This is all Symfony forms. So creating queries, creating blocks, this is pure Symfony. There is very little JavaScript in there, believe me. We were doing it for ourselves, and we like Symfony. So, and this is how this page looks like in the preview. This is that page. And recently we added also these features that you can live preview some changes. So you can do the changes here, drag and drop some items. You can change the block view type. You can also, for example, change the background and stuff like that. This is it's not about designing. It's not a design tool. It's not a web flow. It's not something where designers would use. This is where in the implementation phase you define what are the things that the editor can do. And if the designer defines that the background can be these 4 colors, That's it. It's not about adding hex code, right? It's just giving, okay, these 4 colors you can use. What I also wanted to show you, just in the matter of control, here are the layouts, exactly the same interface you can see here, like you see in the Sylius. What I wanted to show you is the roles editor, because you don't want some editors to do whatever they like, because they can easily break the site if they have admin access to layouts. You can, with drag and dropping stuff, we can ruin the site very quickly. So what we can do is we can say, okay, this role, the basic landing page editor, he can do only these things. He can only edit those kind of blocks. He can only manage items. He can do, he accesses the interface for the layout management, and that's it. He cannot, for example, mess with mappings or stuff like that. Okay, I can do more demos, but let's switch back to the slides. So, just if you are curious, this is the slide which is explaining how actually layout hooks into your Symfony application, being it Ibexa, Sylius, or whatever. So at the beginning of your full view twig, you replace the lines saying, okay, instead of extending the base template, use layouts. And then it just goes through the mapping list and tries to find the best match based on target and condition, and then renders that layout. And it goes into response. What would be the question here? What happens with what was in the twig? Right? And actually, you can completely override it. So for layouts, it just takes over, renders what it's like, and sends it into a response. So whatever was there in twig, you skip it unless you use something which we called a twig block. So whatever twig blocks you have in your original full view template, you can reference it, because there is this twig block, and I can show you quickly. So let's quickly go to here, and let's add it layout, and then I don't know actually by heart what are the twig blocks in, but this is that. So here, I just put here, and I enter whatever name was, for example, I don't know, content, and this will render whatever was in the twig block identified content in your original template. In that way, you can kind of break down your page and move around blocks, just twig blocks. This is also possible. What I didn't mention is that you can target routes. So what you can do is, in the mappings here, for example, I have some layout which is mapped to the root homepage. You can map to the cart, you can map whatever. And so yeah, now you would say, why would I do that? Of course, you don't need to do it. But if you want someone who is not technical managing a block below the cart, for example, manual products which we want to sell. And then it starts interesting, because you can provide him an interface where he can choose products which are below the cart. These kind of use cases you can use. Okay, just to wrap it up. Similar to Sylius, Layouts is open core, which means most of the things that you saw are open source, MIT licensed. What is not open source are things that are also interesting because of the bigger projects. So roles and policies preview. I didn't show you block level caching, so Layouts integrates with Varnish very easily. So each block you can, for example, let's open here. Oh, sorry. I will show you how easy is that. So if you have, for example, a block which is showing recent news, and you want to cache and varnish the whole page, but you want to have a small block which is refreshed every 10 minutes, well, this can be done because every block has configure cache, and you just say this, and this will be rendered in Varnish as an ESI block and invalidated every 10 minutes. So in Sylius projects, maybe that's not that much interesting, but maybe. This is more like for portals and stuff. Okay, and let's see what I else have to do. If you want to learn about layouts, the best, quickest thing is there is a Symfony cast tutorial, 3 hours long. Ryan Weaver did it, and he explains a lot of these under the hood things. So search for it. Developer resources you can find on the Netgen IO layouts page. You know, there's documentation, especially on how to extend the layouts, how you create custom queries, how to create custom blocks, etc. There's a Slack community, obviously. There's a lot of Git repos. So my challenge or my kind of current focus is try to make this layouts plus Sylius Bitbag CMS plugin kind of a installation or a solution that can be easily started with. So you don't need to install everything. Just have a repo where you have a latest version of Sylius layouts. Bitbag CMS for now. Maybe we can use some other CMS. If you have some suggestions, by all means. And then you just start with that, and you already have all these blocks and grids and all that integrations done, so you don't need to do it yourself. So that's my aim for now. Any questions? No questions? I give things for questions. So I have a pack here for first question. Come on. I like questions. You look like you have a question. Sorry, I'm just teasing. Where is, look. Performance? Aha. So of course, when you get a hit request for a URL, we need to check in the database. So there needs to be one query to the database to fetch which layout will be shown, right? And it's the whole layout is basically structured in a JSON in a single. So the database is quite simple. There is no couple of tables, and so there is a hit. But on the other side, we usually use Varnish. So it rarely happens that you actually get a hit. But the hit itself is not that, we have a portal with, what was it like, a German portal with 30 million page views per month or something like that, and it's one server with no particular performance problems. But eventually, if we get to some very big project with a lot of layouts, and if we cannot use Varnish a lot, we would probably then implement just a caching thing in between, when you have a request, so it don't need to go to the database, maybe opcache or things like that, Redis, whatever, to cache that. But so far we didn't have the need to do it, so it's not a big performance hit. You deserve it. Anyone else? Come on, I still have 6 of those packs. I'm prepared for 7 questions. Come on. Mobile. Excellent question. Of course, that when we do things now, it's mostly about responsive design, right? So what you can check always here is you have these kind of things, so you can check how it looks, right? But what you can do if you need a different layout for mobile, you can make a condition in the mapping, which, if you have a detector of Is it a mobile phone? You can create a mapping and put a different layout for mobile. That would be very easy to do. So far, we usually do responsive, so we don't have different layouts for mobile, but it can be done very easily. You just need to have some bundle that can recognize based on the headers, is it mobile or desktop or whatever. Excellent question. More questions? So we had to choose one of the responsive frameworks, and we basically use Bootstrap Grid. Everything else is completely up to you. So layouts doesn't we just render markup. CSS, what you do is, like in any Symfony application, so Sylius does it in one way, the yarn install and core packing of CSS using SAS or whatever. It doesn't have anything to do with layouts. The only thing is that this interface here, it uses Bootstrap. So this one is using whatever is on the front. Of course, if you want the preview to work like this, you need to add some information in the data attributes, obviously, because if I click here, he needs to know that this is the block, right? But in this interface here, this one is using Bootstrap for columns, etc. But of course, it's also replaceable, right? So there is no kind of limitations in doing what you usually do with CSS. Yeah. Okay, more? Yeah. Well, that's what we use with Ibexa. Ibexa has the FOSS cache bundle, which tags stuff which is cached in Varnish. And then when something changes, you send a request to Varnish to purge the cache. It has nothing to do by the way, with layouts as well. This is completely something that you do. What we do here is, if we have a block, and if we want to render it, cache it differently than the whole page, we can mark it as an ESI and give it a TTL. That's basically what we do. Will the whole page be rendered? That's something to do with controller. We don't mess with the controller at all. So the controller sends sets the cache headers. Will it be cached or not? Right? You already have, but then you need these two. Okay. Any other? Okay, if you want this stuff, you can come without the questions. Thank you. I'm okay.